congratulations are in order first. Your first match, your first victory as coach. Walk me through kind of what those feelings are like, taking the pitch for the first time due to the extended absence and then picking up your first victory as head coach.
I think you go through the whole feeling of, wow, this is really going to happen. You're warming the team up, you're getting them organised, you're getting them ready to go. And in all honesty, we had a couple of injuries in the warm up, that hit us, and that kind of made it real again. That's real life, and we haven't had that. So as soon as that first whistle blew, it felt like we were going back to a normal life. A normal 90 minutes of competing, probably for both teams, both sets of coaching staffs, and it was kind of euphoric in the end. That when the whistle blew, there was a funny moment there at the end where all the players are looking to shake hands, and we're all going, no, 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 and you go back to where you were in, 90 minutes prior. But man, just to see the players compete, see them run and get after it and put in tackles and track back, it was a delight to just see them have that normalcy in their life again. Smiles on their faces, of course, when you win, but I know each one of them inside, when they're playing every minute, they're going, man, this is great. So, felt the same way as a coach, and you just want to feel for the players in the end and go, this is what you're in college for. So it was brilliant.
Yeah, the no handshakes, like the no hugging, we're seeing a lot of that in sports. People are having trouble adjusting that. Lots of fist bumps and elbow bumps coming up. But, another thing that goes hand in hand with the pandemic is, obviously, like we said, there was a long layoff between last season and the start of this season, an unusual spring season. And with that layoff comes the question of fitness. Do you feel like your team is there, being able to have some extended time to get ready for this season? And how do you think the fitness levels will change as inevitable stoppages come throughout the year?
Yeah, I mean, I think in the fall we were so stop-start. We really we weren't able to sustain a good month of training, for say. It was very stop-start, no fault of the players, no fault of anyone at Marshall. It was the pandemic. It would just creep up and get into our program or get around our program, and it just hurt us a little bit. The students, they left in November, so we challenged them. Come back ready to go. You're not going to have much time. We're going to have to hit the field as soon as you get back in and get your work done. Sam Black and his, what he's done for this team and other teams, and I know Matt Donaldson as well, what they do for the student athletes is they just provide such a professional service to let them understand where they are physically going into things. So his planning and our planning, with training and pre-season was extensive, so we saw all those dividends come out in the first game. I mean, we didn't use many players. We used, I think 15 players on the day. Not to take away from the other players, it's just they performed so well and they were fit and they could run more. I mean, they just, they came off exhausted, but I think it just shows you the extent of how much work they actually put into pre-season, and it all paid off in the game.
One thing you and I have talked about this year, it is a new look team. There aren't many returners from last year, but one of them that comes back from a season ago is Courtney in the net. I want you to talk about her performance a little bit. How do you feel like she fared in that opening match?
She was comfortable, extremely comfortable. I think she'll admit, and all the other players will admit, the first 10 minutes was nerve-wracking. They hadn't played in a while, but she said once them 15 minutes came in, it was just, she felt comfortable, she felt safe, her hands were great. She came out and claimed a couple of massive crosses in the game. She came up with a couple of big stops, and she just kind of galvanized the back four, given the fact that we'd had to make some changes in there. And she just, she came out the game with a massive performance. So I think all in all, she was, going into the next game, she's not going to be so nervous. So delighted for her.
The one thing that I wish at the college level that stat keepers tracked was time of possession, was possession percentage, possession numbers, and things like that. But in that regard, how do you feel like your team fared in the opener in possessing the ball through the midfield, the attacking third?
It was a funny game, Jake, where they tried to cancel us out. We tried to cancel them out. Again, there was a lot of panic in the play from both teams. But I think once we settled down and got the ball down, we kind of established a rhythm to the game. In the first half, I thought we had the much better of the game, much better of the possession. A lot of times you can have the ball for 60, 70% and not score. And it's probably the same, the 30% stat is you hit those counter-attacks and you catch them on the break. And, we set ourselves up in the second half to press a lot higher, to stop them having possession. And I think it really paid off. We kind of pressed right on top of them and they coughed the ball up and, 3 or 4 quick passes and we were breaking in there. So, stats sometimes tell a lie, but, the way the game was played, it was very one-sided and then very lopsided and then very one-sided. And, all in all, I think in possession, time in possession, but chances in possession were probably right where we were in the end with the win.
League play obviously is something that everybody looks forward to, and you're no stranger to Conference USA yourself. You know how deep this league is and can be. You've obviously studied it and looked at it and things of that nature is what I mean there. A win like that, how do you feel? How do you feel like that can translate into a deep Conference USA and taking on tough teams, tough matches at home, on the road? What lessons do you think your team can sort of apply there?
You go into overtime situations or tight games, and momentum's a big thing. Memory's a big thing. If you lose that game, what's the reaction going to be in the next one? If you win that game, you've got to build on that. You've got to basically keep that thought in the head. Hey, we've been here before. You know what it's like to play in a tight game. We're going into probably 6 of those with conference play, and you've got to be able to know how to win those games. Erica made a great comment. She goes, 18 months ago that wouldn't have happened. We might have crumbled, but we didn't. We pushed on, we pushed players into the right areas. We had some outstanding performances throughout the afternoon, and all in all, we're delighted we got the win, and I think you're probably going to see more fight like that coming out of the team in future games.
The one thing that I always try to ask coaches, especially during this pandemic, about the pandemic is, the starts and the stops, as we mentioned, those are inevitable at this level. How though, I should say, does that impact, a staff's ability to, one, coach the team, but also, two, for you, you're sort of on the tactical side, you're installing new schemes, new systems, new ideals for this program. Does that make the task doubly difficult in that regard?
It does, during a time of a stoppage, but more than anything, the work that we prepared for, in the month of January and really December as well, the amount of talks that we had, myself, Erica, Austin, Sam, just got us prepared for what we were going to, look at when the players arrived. And it changes all the time. So you look at one part of it and you're like, yeah, that's not going to work for us. We need to find another way. And we keep adjusting things, and we made some adjustments through preseason, and we've made some adjustments during the 90 minutes, and the players are tactically aware now what we're looking to do, and they figured it out, and we had a great response, and we've had a tremendous response out of them. The more information they can absorb, the better. I think we've had probably in pre-season, we brought them out to train, and we just basically told them, you're not thinking today, you're just gonna play, you're gonna have fun, you're gonna enjoy it. And we had a couple of great afternoons with them on the field, playing like volleys and doing some juggling stuff, and it helps them just relax their minds a little bit, and they came out the next day firing and ready to go. So you have to be smart with how you inform them, but do the work on the front end.
I have to ask you, when was the last time you either played or trained and there was this much snow on the ground?
Well, I could say last week. Preparing for the game, we actually trained. Our maintenance crew got the field ready for us. I think it was like a Wednesday of last week, and we shouldn't have been out there, but we had to. It was our big day to get some work on our legs, and the staff here is amazing. They're out there working on it right now, getting it ready for both programs, men's and women's soccer. But actually, going back, I would say it was 2008, playing in the national tournament, the NAI national tournament at King College, and our groundskeeper, we had an ice storm that came in, and we couldn't move the game. It had to be played. It was kind of on a time-sensitive situation with the national tournament, and he mowed it. He mowed the ice off the field, and it went to double overtime. It was kind of comical, and going back to when I played in college, we played in a triple overtime game in weather like this as well, and that game was won probably 7 or 8 times, but the ball just stuck in the mud.
Yeah.
So we ended up being on the losing end of that, but playing 3 overtimes and having players go to the hospital with hypothermia and people carrying each other off the field, it just shows you what the camaraderie is like in the game.
It really does. Well, and it's we talked about it earlier in this interview. It's such a unique set of circumstances that here you are playing a soccer season in what's traditionally viewed as the spring, but if you look outside, it does not look like the spring right now. It's very, very cold. So, well, Coach Swan, I appreciate you taking the time to chat with me. Best of luck the rest of the season. We'll have to link up more.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jake. Go ahead.